FX welcoming you back to Dover, Delaware. NASCAR Next Up Cup Racing on FX, brought to you by UPS, the official express delivery company of NASCAR. UPS, we want to race the truck. People love the truck. 4 leaders, 4 lead changes. Tony Stewart leading his 8th race of this season, but so far he has yet to win, although in the hunt in points. Brendan Gaughan with a problem here.
Yeah, Brendan was involved in the accident just a little while ago with Elliott Sadler, and it looks like that left front is still rubby, so he'll need to come to pit road as he's doing right now to try to get some clearance so he doesn't have a problem with maybe blowing that left front tire out.
Let's get back to Stewart, the leader here. 4 of his 17 Cup wins have come in the month of June, so no June swoon for him. He's got a couple of Dover Cup wins, and since his rookie season, he hasn't won his first race of the season at or after the 11th race of the season in 4 of the 5 years that he's been running, and this could be his best chance so far this year.
Car looks awesome right now, and another car that looks like it's running pretty well is Brian Vickers along with Kurt Busch in the 97 car. Both these guys right here hanging tough, putting on a pretty good little show. Kurt gets a good run up off the corner there, getting ready like he's going to put a move on the 25, and Jimmy Johnson is also posing in the picture, so he's looking to kind of get back on track here at Dover after having a great weekend at Lowe's Motor Speedway. But Chris, one of the things that's kind of early playing out as we see the 97 car getting ready to go underneath Brian Vickers. Got position on it. Brian's not giving it up easy, but early on, and he does make the move, makes the pass. But it looks like guys are learning about the fact you need to put on 4 new tires each time the pit road is open if you get an opportunity, because Tony Stewart was one of the guys who came to pit road, and the guys right there. There's his teammate right there.
Stewart lapping Bobby Labonte.
Yeah, Bobby Labonte's got troubles early on, so be interested to find out what's going on with that car. But you need to get tires, otherwise you're going to wind up getting yourself kicked to the back of the pack.
And Brendan Gaughan and the 77 car has gone to the garage, so Tony Stewart is yet to win this year. Jeremy Mayfield, the pole sitter, currently running second, has gone 129 races without a victory. Hopes to end that streak. Let's rejoin Mike Larry and Darrell.
What's going on with teammates? Last week, Jimmy Johnson dominated. Jeff Gordon couldn't get out of his own way. This week, Tony Stewart is trying to run away with this race. His teammate, Bobby Labonte, goes a lap down early. It's strange. Now, here's Ryan Newman. Newman is coming. He just passed Harvick for 4th. Rusty Wallace, though, has recovered from that pit miscue where he started back in the late 20s. Rusty has climbed up to 15th. Jimmy Johnson restarted 19th. He's up to 11th. So comers and goers. But you're right, Darrell. The guys that made the right adjustment and got the 4 tires, they're the ones that are coming.
And what makes the difference in these cars, Mike, is it's something that Larry and I we don't even think about very often. We think about shock, springs, sway bars. It's bodies, aerodynamics. Cars can be set up identical, but the aerodynamics can be so different on the cars that they don't respond the same way.
And you wouldn't think that would be big at a 1-mile racetrack, but like we talked about Jeremy Mayfield a while ago, pole speed over 160 miles per hour at a 1-mile racetrack, you better believe aerodynamics make a difference, and it's small differences.
That's right. There's no substitute for downforce. That's a driver's best friend.
And what makes the difference is that the only mass-produced pieces that you can see on these cars are the fiberglass caps for the front and the rear bumper. Everything else is handmade by the fabricators that build the cars for each individual team. So no two are truly alike.
No, and it's those little tweaks that the teams do. Each team does a little something differently. Each fabricator does a little something differently that makes that car good or bad.
Just talked about Rusty Wallace. He just drove by Dale Earnhardt Jr. underneath him in the 8 car. That puts Rusty up to the 14th position. I think if Rusty could get some track position back, he'd have a good race car.
All right, we asked the question about Tony Stewart dominating this race now and Bobby Labonte going a lap down. Dick Bergman knows why.
Well, Bobby Labonte's car just has not been fast enough until the green flag drop today. Right now, the radio traffic is that the car is loose. Just plain loose, Mike.
You know, guys, we talked about that at the beginning of the show. When you're running that fast around a 1-mile racetrack, if you are off just a little bit, I mean, they'll lap you in 20 laps just like they did Bobby Labonte.
This is a frightening racetrack to drive when you're loose because you don't have a lot of grip. And when that back end jumps around with you, you see what happens. All these cars snap loose. When that thing snaps loose, it's like walking down the street in a pair of leather-soled shoes. You got grip, and all of a sudden your foot slips out from under you and you say, whoa.
You know, one of the best race cars I think I've been watching last 10 laps right here, this 9 car Casey Kane. He just went by Kevin Harvick for 5th position. I've been watching the score monitor, and he pretty much on a regular basis has had the fastest car.
And Bobby Labonte has taken his ill-handling car to pit road.
Yeah, you can only stand it so long.
Yeah, he couldn't even get out of the way of people fast enough.
Kurt Busch with Michael Waltrip and Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy's climbed into the top 10. Michael now 9th as Kurt Busch moves up to 8th. Darrell, you talk about aero, and the other thing certainly is tires. 4 fresh tires here. Those have been the fellows moving forward, not back.
And another thing, it's just hard to conceive a half a pound of air can fix a race car. A half a pound of air.
Why, Larry?
Well, a tire is basically a spring. And what we have found is you change the spring rate of that tire just like you would a spring. And what we have seen is a half a pound of air can be like changing that spring rate 10 or 15 pounds.
Brian Vickers also coming back to the front. He's got a really fast car today, Darrell, but it looks like I don't know if coming off the corner, if he really trusts that car under other cars, and it's really fast.
Well, he's pretty sharp kid because he's watched enough guys get under people and see that thing come around with them. He's being real cautious. That's a good drive.
He's in 10th position, but he is a half a lap behind our leader right now, Tony Stewart, at 20.
Now, again, going back to last week, Jimmy Johnson, great. Jeff Gordon, not so great. It's a new week, Darrell. You said the pressure be on Gordon to perform in front of his sponsor's hometown track, and wow, he's coming. He's at 3rd place, 5 seconds back.
He better not run like he did last week, 2 weeks in a row, where there's going to be something, going to be some trouble somewhere. I expected him to run great today, and I think that
just a little bit tight, just past the center.
A little tight, just past the center. That's under power.
Yeah, another race like that, those flames on the hood would turn to icicles.
Yikes.
83 laps complete in the MBNA 400, honoring America's hero. Tony Stewart, pole sitter Jeremy Mayfield, and Jeff Gordon, the leader. Tony Stewart leads at 90 laps. Kurt Busch just passed Kevin Harvick for 7th, and Johnny Sauter has made an early unscheduled pit stop. That's where we stand with Stewart leading the Dodge of Mayfield and the Chevy of Gordon. Here's the Sears Craftsman Truck Series Tundra tail of the tape. Then Assessor, the point leader. Larry's best of 2 trucks in 4th, and Darrell's rookie David Rudiman in 12th in the standings.
Had a couple of bad weeks. My boy has Rudiman, but he's still my man. We'll be fine.
And remember, you can catch all the Truck Series action only on Speed Channel.
Fix to get serious for those boys now. 8 races in a row coming up.
Yeah, and you can go to DW's.com and bid on the truck that they're going to give away over.
Brian Newman, somebody lit the fuse on the rocket because he's closing on Jeff Gordon for 3rd place. Gordon, since we were away, only gave up half a second to race leader Tony Stewart, so Newman has run him down.
And you can see Jeff Gordon has moved up the racetrack to about the 2nd or 3rd groove, but Ryan Newman in that 12, he is still right around the bottom. Let's see down here in 1 and 2 if Jeff moves up the racetrack about a lane, but Ryan Newman digging around the bottom.
Bobby Labonte's off the pace over here in turn 3 coming to pit road. I'm not sure what's wrong.
He made three laps, Darrell, that were about 1.5 seconds off pace and came back to pit road.
I bet, he was just in the, well, he's not running that well, so they got something wrong.
Kyle Petty also in the pit lane.
We're getting a report that Bobby Labonte may have a broken rear end. Right now he is back in 35th position, 5 laps down.
All right, here comes Newman to the inside of Jeff Gordon. Gordon slides up the hill, and here comes Newman. Sails past for 3rd place, Matt.
Jeff hauls back and forth. Jeff did come out of the radio telling his crew chief, Robbie Loomis, he said the car had been good earlier, but it's just gradually getting tighter and tighter, and now I am really tight. This team trying to bounce back, like you documented earlier in the show, Larry Mack, from that 30th place finish at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. What a place to try to get back your stride. He's won here 4 times, now on a drive for 5.
And what I just saw, he's smart racing right now with that car getting tighter, because when Ryan Newman called him, he kind of pointed where he wanted Ryan to go by him. When Ryan went by him, he acknowledged, thank you, we didn't race each other right there.
And with the thing getting tighter, you move up the racetrack, because you want to try to, smart guy's going to take a little pressure off that right front tire.
Casey Kane catching Jeff Gordon. This is now for 4th place. Brendan Gaughan is back in the race Darrell, what's the difference between snug and really tight like Jeff Gordon is right now?
When you're snug, you can kind of drive through it. You can just crank the wheel and you can see the front tire will get enough grip you can keep going. But when you get it where you just can turn the wheel all the way to the left locked and the thing still goes straight, that's when you got trouble.
Speaking of trouble, here's our point leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who came in here with a 5-point lead on Jimmy Johnson, and he's about to lose a lap to Tony Stewart.
And I think what's happening to a lot of cars like Dale Earnhardt Jr. is this racetrack has changed dramatically since the start of the race. The rubber's down. We're hearing a lot of drivers complaining about pushing or being tight. And there you see it. Tony Stewart just drives by him with less than 100 laps into this race.
Junior kind of slid. Junior put a little block on him, but not much. That's what always happens to you here. You get off a little bit at some point in the race. You got a car like the 20 car, Tony Stewart, flying around this joint. You get a lot of people in trouble. Same thing happened last week at Lowe's with Jimmy Johnson.
We're at the quarter pole of this MBNA 400. 100 down, 300 to go. Tony Stewart has been the most proficient of 4 leaders. He's been out front for half of this race so far. Brian Vickers, top 5 qualifier, who's after his pit stop has come up to 10th. He has the fastest lap of the race so far. Dick?
But right now, Mike, the car is not good. Vickers is complaining that it's way too tight from the center off. He cannot bring the car down to the bottom of the racetrack. He just can't run the bottom, and that's where he wants to be.
Among the rookies, Casey Kane ahead of Brian Vickers in this race. Scott Wimmer, Scott Riggs, Johnny Sauter, who had a pit violation and had to restart at the end of the longest line, and Brendan Gaughan.
Jamie McMurray in the 42 car, he has went a lap down here recently. Right now, we only have 18 cars left on the lead lap.
Yeah, and just, you know, on that restart, remember who was leading?
Jeff Burton.
Jeff Burton.
And he is just within a few car lengths now of losing a lap. Here comes Tony, there goes Jeff.
Ricky Rudd also just ahead of our race leader in the Wood Brothers car.
Bobby Labonte back to pit road again.
Been there and done that. I'll tell you what, you get off here, you swear there's something broken.
104 laps complete. Stewart, Mayfield, Newman, Gordon, and Kane, the fast 5.